Hey everyone, Andre here, along with Tom, Chris, Triss, and Joey, to give Game Explain's official Game Awards predictions and discussion for the 2020 show. I'm so excited for this. I'm actually on location outside Jeff Keighley's house at this very moment. Hi Jeff, how's it going? Anyways, before we get into it, or before we get into our specific predictions for Nintendo and I'm sure a few other companies as well, I just wanted to get our overall thoughts on what we think of this year's Game Awards in general, for whether it's specific awards or what we're expecting of the show, as an overall thing. Because this year's a little bit different, because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So this show is probably going to be a little bit unusual compared to past years. But how are we just all feeling, everyone? Let's go ahead and start off with you, Chris. What is your overall gut feeling so far on the Game Awards?
I'm really excited, honestly. I mean, something about the Game Awards to me that I really like is it's kind of hard to predict. Like, especially when it comes to Nintendo announcements, they haven't really done the same thing twice. It's always a little different, and so that makes it fun to just kind of think about all the things that could be shown off. And then when it comes to the awards themselves, it's pretty much about what I expected, I guess. I do think Nintendo has a chance at taking one of the awards, but we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited.
You say you're excited, but you're not outside Jeff Keighley's house right now.
That's true.
I still can't believe that's his house. Like, seriously.
I know, it's crazy.
Game Awards brings in some big money.
I think Andre is standing around Crash Bandicoot, like lying down drunk maybe by his feet right now.
He is standing on Crash Bandicoot right now.
He gives me life. His death gives me life. All right, Tom. How are you feeling?
Last year was a bit disappointing at the end of it because, kind of started out strong and it petered out and it's like, why did I watch this whole thing? But, there's peaks and valleys in life. So maybe this year it's going to be a better one. And unlike Summer Game Fest, which might still be going on, this is going to be a condensed event. And we're going to have it over with in 2.5 hours approximately. I think there's a chance for some real big announcements to kind of ones that might have been delayed from next gen and moving on to keep some hype for early next year.
How about you, Triss?
I'm mixed, not in a bad way, but more of the Game Awards as so much have always been kind of up and down, and not even just with Nintendo announcements, just in general. Sometimes I notice a lot of the awards themselves are told during commercial breaks, and you get a little pop in look, this won this, by the way, during our advertisement, and it's a little messy at times, a little hard to keep up with exactly what's going on. But it's always kind of exciting, and there's always a fun energy around, especially online whenever the Game Awards are around. You get people rallying up for their favorite games, you get people theorizing about fun announcements, and as Chris said, Nintendo never does the same thing twice. But who knows?
For better or worse.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll see something exciting, or maybe we'll get another surprise musical performance of something related to Nintendo. I still love I think it was 2 years ago at this point when it was the night Smash Ultimate release and they played the main theme with the whole orchestra. That was such a beautiful moment. I do really love that. So the Game Awards.
Did you cry?
I did not, but I had that feeling. You know what? I totally get it if people did.
How are you feeling, Joey?
I'm mixed also because not just last year's Game Awards was kind of disappointing, but just this year in general with game announcements has been pretty disappointing, and it's kind of just soured my my expectations for this awards show because this year we didn't even have an event like E3. We had the Summer Games Fest, even the Xbox shows, even to extent sometimes the PlayStation shows, especially the Ubisoft shows. The announcements they had in there were pretty lackluster, and I don't know if that really had anything to do with the pandemic or not. But that's kind of why I'm going in cautiously optimistic for this Game Awards. I don't think we'll see anything maybe massively huge, but I would love to be proven wrong, as always.
Well, Jeff Keighley I think going by his early hype for the show, he might say that he's going to try and prove you wrong, because he's apparently said there are going to be around 12 or 15 world premieres as part of the main show itself, which I believe is in addition to the 5 world premieres already promised for the pre-show. I don't even know what the division is between the pre-show and the actual show at this point, but apparently there is one.
I mean, he said that last year too. He was saying hey, I remember when I don't know if it was after the Series X was announced last year. He was saying like, and that's not even like the best thing we got, and then it, sure enough, was the best thing we got at that show. So
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Jeff is definitely a bit of a hype man, and I think last year they had 10 world premieres during the show itself, so it seems like there will be a few more here. But my overall hope for this show is I want less CG trailers. I cannot stand CG trailers. They tell me nothing about the game, except for maybe a rough ambition the developers have for it, or like a mood they're trying to get. But I want to see what the game is. I want to see how it plays. And I have a feeling that's not going to be any different this year. So my prediction, or for my overall thoughts, I'm not quite sure what to expect. Like, I feel like every year is different, particularly when it comes to Nintendo, of which last year was a little disappointing. But I think we only had Bravely Default 2, if you want to consider that as a Nintendo announcement.
We also had No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, I think they had No More Heroes 3.
That's true.
In the pre-show.
I did forget about that. During the pre-show, I think that's why I forgot about it. Right?
It makes sense, yeah. And it also was no gameplay, but it was a funny little trailer, I will admit.
Yeah, so Nintendo's like kind of been all over the spectrum when it comes to the Game Awards. They've had years where they had, I think, 3, possibly 4 announcements. Then they've had years like the last year where, as a first-party company, they really had very little, if no, presence at all. So, and that kind of speaks to your point, Joey, as to this year. But this year has been weird for any number of reasons. With one big one in particular. But that in a way is almost maybe a little bit more optimistic, perhaps foolishly. Because, we didn't get E3 this year, and I feel like there are announcements that were going to be made at E3, or were at least planned to have been made at E3, that haven't yet. And I wonder now, maybe that's where the Game Awards could be stepping up. Maybe we're going to finally be getting those announcements that we didn't get earlier in the year. So that's my hope. So I'm kind of going in, like, crossing my fingers, still hesitating, but hoping we'll get some sizable news here.
You say you're foolishly hyped, so you are in front of Jeff Keighley's house after all.
I actually doesn't live here. I should have told you earlier.
I do want to piggyback off of that, Andre, because I also feel like the fact that we didn't get a proper E3 this year, I do get the feeling that some companies are going to want to treat the Game Awards as that sort of time to reveal something that normally would have been saved for E3. Because I think the Summer Games Fest kind of popped up a bit quickly for a lot of companies, that they probably didn't jump onto it because they didn't really know what it was going to be like. Whereas the Game Awards, for better or for worse, have always had a certain consistency to them. Even though they're always doing something different, there's always a certain level of expectations that are set by all the companies and all the participants. So I think when you remove E3 from this year, the Game Awards become the biggest gaming event to happen this year. And I think that definitely means some companies are going to be using that time.
There is something to be said, absolutely something to be said for that, especially given its exponential growth. Last year had a record-breaking 45.2 million people tuning into the live stream at some point, I believe, which was up 73% from the year before, which is absurd. That is a massive amount of growth. And I don't know whether that trend will fully continue, but even if it matches that, like, that's a big audience you're reaching, and the Game Awards are, becoming, it's an ever-increasingly important platform for companies to reach, audiences that they may not ordinarily, or especially this year with E3 not being a thing.
We also got a lot of people staying home this year. So
exactly, so which helps. Actually might add to that. So perhaps this will be another record-breaking year, which I wouldn't be surprised given the fact I think it has been every year of its existence. So... Well, I guess, and real quick, before we hop into the awards, there's one thing I wanted to touch on real quick, and that's the fact that we do have, there's the big category everyone cares about every year, of course, is the Game of the Year. And this year we have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Doom Eternal, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. I just want a quick gut reaction. We've already kind of touched on this on the podcast, but what do you think is going to take it? If you had to choose one game, I don't want to hear any, justifications or I think this could happen, but maybe this. I want to hear your solid take on who's gonna win. Let's start off with you, Chris. Who's taking Game of the Year?
Sorry,
New Horizons, all right.
New Horizons. I'm going for it. Are we doing reasons or are we saving that?
You can give a quick reason. That's fine. Yeah.
New Horizons made 2020 better, and 2020 made New Horizons better. I think that, but seriously, I think there's never been a situation like this, and there never will be, I don't think, where a game is so closely associated with the year in which it released. We're always going to remember Animal Crossing New Horizons as 2020, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the criteria is that goes into deciding or choosing game of the year, even if that's even how it's done. But I just think also 2020 is a very unique year. And if we're talking about the game that really defined this year, for me, it's definitely New Horizons.
Good points. Absolutely. How about you, Joey?
The Last of Us Part 2, because of multiple reasons, one of which I do think it really does deserve that game of the year. It is, it's an extremely well-crafted experience with a very ambitious and, of course, controversial story, and it really just does take a certain amount of guts to make a story like that.
There's definitely lots of guts in that game.
Lots of guts everywhere. Some of them are dog guts too. Ew, gross. But but also it's kind of I also feel like there is a bias when it comes to Sony first party exclusives, which is another reason why I think it is gonna win, is because like there's just so much bias towards that game. I would say I still think it's like a well-crafted game, and I still wouldn't be mad if like another game on this list won instead of it, but I definitely think the odds are in The Last of Us Part 2's favor in this year.
Okay. How about you, Tom?
I'll say the one I'd like to win is Hades. Even though it's going to be probably what Joey said, Hades seems to have a lot of momentum recently, despite being in early access a long time, and it'd be a nice story for an indie studio to come out on top.
That's what I wouldn't mind winning either, is Hades.
Didn't it happen last year too, where a indie title took it?
Disco Elysium or something?
No, it was
Was it
Sekiro.
Celeste? Oh, no, Sekiro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sekiro.
And Sekiro was an indie, but I remember Celeste was nominated for Game of the Year in 2018.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
How about you, Tris?
I'm definitely agreeing with Chris on this one. I think it's going to be Animal Crossing. That game has touched so many families this year and has really kept people together when people can't be together. And that game has ended up being the answer to this year, if that makes sense, to doing so many things. I mean, look at how much it was used. You had political campaigns using the game to reach people in various countries. I think that says a lot about what reach this game had to all audiences, not even just Animal Crossing fans.
I think you make compelling points for Animal Crossing, but I think I'm going to lean on what Joey was saying, with like there being a kind of Sony bias, or maybe not even necessarily that, but maybe the AAA spectrum of bias. And that's why I personally think The Last of Us Part 2 probably has it. I feel like even though Animal Crossing reached almost everyone in the world, seemingly including my mom, who doesn't play games at all, I feel like when it comes to like the people who are probably voting on these games, I think there's more of an overlap with Last of Us 2. But hey, I'd be happy to be proven wrong. Anyways, enough talk about the Game Awards itself, or rather the Game of the Year award. Let's get into our predictions. What do we think we might be seeing in terms of world premieres? Again, there are potentially around 15 to 20 of these things, evidently. I don't think we have that many predictions.
No.
But let's get into what we think we might be seeing. So let's go ahead and start off with you, Tom. I want your first prediction.
My first prediction, this is an event taking place in different areas across the world. I think it'd be a waste if they only used Tokyo for, I believe it's a Persona musical, or like live performance, not musical. So I think we're going to get a taste, a CG trailer, as Andre might put it, of Kojima's next work, considering how close he is to Jeff Keighley. I think he's got to keep that momentum going on with the new company, get people hyped for his next game. Just say it's on PS5, wherever people go crazy. Sony obviously would love to keep that momentum going. And we'll have no idea what the game is at all, or how it will play, but we'll see
Watch it.
what he's working on.
Be Boktai 2 exclusive for Nintendo Switch.
Oh, I would take that.
Has Jeff Keighley announced that Kojima's even going to be there this year? I haven't kept up with every single.
He doesn't have to.
No, of course.
We know he'll be there.
Of course, of course. But
I could probably go knock on Jeff Keighley's door right now, and Hideo will probably answer. So. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That'd be interesting. I feel like it might be a little bit too soon to find out what exactly Hideo's up to already, but I guess it has been a little while. It's been over a year since Death Stranding was released, right?
Also, he he had a teaser for Death Stranding also, like right when it started development.
Yep,
Yeah.
And
exactly.
he just put Norman Reedus in a mocap suit and gave him a fake baby, and like that was the trailer.
But so that could happen again. I think the situation's a little bit different though, because he just wanted to be like, hey, look what I've left Kojima, I've left Konami, and now look, here's my next big project.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
who knows? That'd be fun. That'd be an exciting thing.
Anyway, whatever happens with it, though, we have to be fearful about what his game's theme is about at this point. So,
Yeah. Also, who's going to be the celebrity in that game? That's what I want to know. My friend
Christopher
said
Nolan.
What if it'd be Christopher Nolan dubbed over by another actor, because that's how it is. But I was thinking, for some reason, I thought, okay, it has to be someone in an HBO show, because of course, obviously. So I was thinking Ben Mendelsohn, who was the main villain in Rogue One. It's such a random prediction, but I think it's random enough to where I think it could happen.
All right, Chris, let's get a prediction from you.
Okay, there are some big things that I could mention, but I'm sure they'll probably be mentioned either by myself or someone else later on. So I'm going to go with something a little more personal that I think could still happen, and that is, we haven't had a Mario sports game in a while, and I think there is a
Scratch that off the
possibility
list.
that a new Mario sports game could be shown off by Nintendo at the Game Awards. I think it's the perfect kind of sort of spin-off type game. It's not like the biggest Mario titles, like a 2D or 3D title, but I think it'd still be big, and I would love for it specifically to be a Mario Baseball or a Mario Strikers game. I think,
Yes.
we had Mario Tennis Aces in, I think, 2018. It's been a couple years, and it's been a while since we've had Sluggers or Baseball or Strikers, and I think those are the games especially that could really resonate with the Game Awards audience too, because I think they have really passionate fan bases, because we haven't really had either of those games, I think, since the Wii is where they last left off. And I think that'd be really fun. It's kind of a personal prediction just because I would personally love it, but I think it could definitely happen. And yeah, so new Mario sports game, specifically baseball or strikers.
I'd be down for that.
I would absolutely love that, regardless of what Mario Sport it ends up being, whether it's one of those two or Camelot doing their whole back and forth between tennis and golf. I do think we haven't seen everything for Mario's 35th anniversary yet, and I do think we will see a sports game before Mario disappears on March 31st.
It'll be Mario Croquet.
I'm sure they'll find a way to make that real fun.
with the trailer for this, I'd love it. It's one of the GameCube type trailers where it's like Wario and Waluigi
Yes.
scheming for no good, and it kind of looks like
Shenanigans.
maybe its own game, or maybe teasing that it's Bowser's Fury, but like no, it's revealed to be the sports game at the very end. So.
That'd be awesome.
They should just tease it's Mario Galaxy 3, but then it turns into Mario Croquet, and then that'll make nobody mad, I guarantee you.
Well, real quick, since Tom did bring up Bowser's Fury, is anyone here predicting that we might see that at the show?
I don't think so.
No.
I think they're gonna wait till January
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
it as
you
an
think
option, but I ruled it out.
Any particular reasons why we don't think it might be here? Because we haven't seen really anything of the actual Bowser's Fury mode yet.
It's just, it's not a Game Awards type of reveal. I wouldn't say announcement or reveal because it's already been revealed.
It's been announced, right?
Yeah, but I think back to the travesty that was VGX, and that's when they revealed Cranky Kong.
Did it make you cranky, Joey?
Oh, I was so cranky, and he was wearing a Metroid pin. That son of a gun.
I think they won't, because even though 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is a new game, it is still technically an enhanced port. It's a re-release of 3D World with more. And I think if Nintendo was going to reveal anything, it would be something that we haven't even had a proper tease of yet. Or something that we've only had teased but never properly seen.
Well, to that point then, Tris, do you have any predictions along those lines? for us?
My top prediction isn't actually a Nintendo one, surprisingly.
Do you have a Nintendo prediction?
I do.
Okay, let's go with that then for
go
now.
with
We'll save your top prediction.
Okay. Looking down my list then. I do think it's time to see Metroid. And we have seen, so many people talking about Metroid Prime 4 all the time since its reveal and then it's restarting production. I think we could finally see either Metroid Prime 4 get a proper trailer saying maybe targeting sometime 2021. It might just be another CG trailer, and it might have a little bit more than just a 4 in the clouds. But I do think it would still leave more questions than answers. But I do also think, if it isn't Metroid Prime 4, I know there's been rumors for so long of another 2D Metroid coming, or what I think many are calling Metroid 5. And I do think that is something they could end up revealing, especially with all the ideas people have been having lately of what if they put Samus in Fortnite. Well, there you go. There's your perfect cross-promotion marketing. You can also announce there.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised I'm not the one who gave the Metroid prediction. I tried to hold back because I've been called crazy for years to even give a Metroid prediction.
If you want to piggyback off of my idea at all and expand upon it, because I don't have much else to say other than I feel like we will see something about it.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
think
not.
we'll see Metroid here then, Joey?
I don't think so. I am trying not to get my hopes up for that at all. But I do think it's still. This isn't my prediction. I'm just going off of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I still think it is a possibility because the game's now been in development for almost 2 years. That's enough time to put a trailer, a CG trailer even.
Yeah.
And yeah, I only like CG trailers when they're super well edited, like the first Deathloop trailer. If you haven't watched the first Deathloop trailer, go watch it. It's so good. But the second is if it's a franchise that's super popular and it's been especially been wanted by fans for decades in this case. Not really decades, but it feels like decades. So I would totally take another Metroid Prime 4 teaser as long as they say, hey, the Metroid Prime trilogy is coming to Switch in February or March or what have you. Kind of like what they did with Bayonetta 3 and 1 and 2 back at the Game Awards in 2017. But yeah, like I said, not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to go in like, oh, give me Metroid or give me death, because that's not healthy for me.
I forgot to say my actual reasoning why I think it's going to be there. Because 2021 isn't just Zelda's big anniversary. It's also the big anniversary for Metroid. And I think, I think so much of that year is going to be put on Zelda that this is their way to get people on board with Metroid as well, without it feeling completely drowned out by Zelda. So.
Yeah, I don't. With Metroid, it's. I mean, they've ignored anniversaries of Metroid before, so
Exactly.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up again. But here's hoping they give my girl Samus some love.
Well, I'll hop in here then, because historically I'd agree that Nintendo I don't think would pay much attention to Metroid's anniversary, but it's possible that they will make an exception this year, even if not officially. I think we may be seeing stuff from Metroid soon. So I don't know if we will actually see Metroid Prime 4 here, and by that I mean I don't think we will, unless it's like nothing but like the shortest of teases. And I think that would act as, I think Joey touched on a moment ago, as possibly a lead up to another kind of announcement. So I'll just actually throw in two predictions here, they're kind of as one big thing. So I predict that we will see actually. So there's been a lot of rumblings about Fortnite. Jeff Keighley's been teasing some kind of announcement for it coming up. We've already, Kratos is now in the game. There's been data mines, not data mines, but I guess leaks or rumors of Master Chief also coming to it. So I think that there's a good chance, or I think there's a chance that Samus actually is confirmed for Fortnite. I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I think there's a chance. Of course, it could just end up being, Master Chief as being the reveal that Jeff's been teasing. But I think that would be a fun crossover. Like, if we do, Fortnite has proven to be kind of this what's the word I'm looking for? Like non-biased like entity in which all these IPs can come together, almost like the Smash Brothers of like general gaming. Like there's no like allegiance to any one platform or IP. And now with seemingly Kratos and Master Chief going in there, why not get Samus in there? Like what a way to build up awareness for Metroid Prime 4, as well as what I'm predicting, the Metroid Prime trilogy. It's finally gonna be announced at this Game Awards. Finally gonna get it. It's been rumored for years. I think it makes sense to finally get this game out on the Switch. especially if it is in conjunction with Samus in Fortnite. Get people aware of what these games are as we lead up to whenever the hell Metroid Prime 4 actually releases, which I'm not expecting this year, but at some point in the future, it's a good way.
You mean this coming year, of course?
Yeah.
This coming year, sorry, 2021.
I think it could come. I think it could come out in 2020.
That'd be amazing.
Yes.
I'll add to that real quick in that probably that combo announcement, because usually because Metroids have had sort of two of them together, so have the smaller, it's probably bigger Fortnite one, combined with the trilogy, and I'll add to that where the trilogy will only be available until March 31st.
No.
That'd be terrible. That'd be absolutely terrible. But also, I have a question for you, Andre, because I know the comment section is going to say stuff about Samus being in Fortnite, and the comments will say Nintendo would never let that happen. Nintendo would never put their characters on other platforms. Nintendo would never do this. I feel like we've been saying Nintendo would never for a very, very long time now, and they've done things that people said they would never do. So
Steve is in Smash Brothers. I mean,
exactly.
After that, I think anything's fair game. I mean, you could even date it earlier, Cloud and Smash, any number of things. And I agree with you, Joey. Like, it's always Nintendo will never do this until they do. And then, that's just how it is. It's hard to picture something as happening until they do it. It's like, oh, well, I guess it was possible. So, I think especially in this era, and especially like with how well Switch is doing in general, compared, I think it's clear, like people say this and it's not entirely true, but there is truth to it. Nintendo almost does exist in their own little bubble, where like they are competing, but they're not directly competing with these other systems, particularly with the fact that Series X and PS5 are continuing along the trajectory that those systems have continued, where Switch is kind of doing its own thing. I don't think any of them really see each other as a direct threat, and getting Samus in Fortnite isn't going to hurt Nintendo. That's only going to help them, if anything. So I don't think Nintendo's too concerned about seeing, oh no, Samus is on PS5. It's like, who cares? Like, I mean, that's awesome.
That's
we posted a video of like, it's marketing. Kratos being on Switch through Fortnite. Like, that's actually really cool to see. I wouldn't rule anything out really. I mean, maybe except for Sora and Smash Brothers. The one thing, because of Disney. But hey, who knows? All right. Let's go on to another prediction here. How about you, Joey? Let's get an official prediction from you then.
Okay. This is not really Nintendo related, but I did think about like a kind of like a From Software bundled announcement, sort of, because everyone's been dying to see Elden Ring, because all we got was that CGI trailer last year, and I really feel like we will see first gameplay of Elden Ring at that point. I don't understand why people are that excited for George R.R. Martin's involvement in it. I don't, because he does Game of Thrones. I get that, but I don't see how his involvement's going to make the game better. It's already From Software. It's going to be amazing, so we'll see about that. But they're not going to stop at Elden Ring, and this is kind of a wild prediction. They're also going to announce not only a Bloodborne remaster for PlayStation 5, they will tease Bloodborne 2, because they know they can't just ignore that outcry for not only the Bloodborne remaster, but also a Bloodborne sequel. People love Bloodborne. Bloodborne was my first Souls game, and I think it's definitely responsible for the increase in interest in the Souls franchise to begin with. And I would think if there's any time to announce more Bloodborne, it's at the Game Awards this year.
Okay. Yeah, I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Has everyone given a prediction so far? Have we all gone?
Yes.
More than one? Okay. All right. Well, let me hop in here then again as one. I think that maybe on a few of ours, maybe not. I don't know. I do think we will get a Smash Brothers reveal here at the Game Awards. I feel like it's time. It's been a few months now since, been a couple months since Steve.
At this point, it's been a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we had Joker at the Game Awards, I believe 2 years ago.
Yep.
So I think it's time, and I predict it will be at the very least another big third-party crossover, of which there are a few options, but for whatever reason, I'm feeling like maybe it could be Crash Bandicoot's time to be in Smash Brothers.
That's what I had too. Oh no way! That's awesome.
All right, Chris, I'll let you take it from here.
No, you should go ahead. Sorry.
No. You got too excited there. I gotta have you chime in here. So
All right,
why do you think we might see Crash, and why are you so excited for it?
Well, I don't even know. Okay, I lost my train.
I don't even know. I just want it.
I just won it. Yeah. No, I was just thinking about it, and I think Crash would be a great fit. I mean, I was trying to think about it like logistically. You know, Crash 4 came out this year, and it has some recognition at the Game Awards, being nominated, I think, for Best Family Game.
Yes.
So there's that. So that lends some, weight to this. But I think Crash would just be really fun. I think he would be different enough in terms of his reach from Steve, not to feel like they're doing, similar types of characters, I guess, in a row.
Yeah.
And I also think they could do a lot of things with his moveset, but it still probably wouldn't be as maybe complex as Steve's or as the Minecraft characters, just with building and crafting and everything. I know. So I think it would be a good fit right now in this slot after Steve, especially since Steve is still pretty recent. I'm saying Steve, I mean all the Minecraft characters because they're skins, I guess.
I think we know what you mean when you just say Steve. So
yes, yeah,
yeah. Steve, Alex, Enderman, Zombie, that guy.
I should just say that every time, yeah.
Yes, you should.
But yeah, I think Crash. So, anyways, that's why I think Crash could be a great fit right now, since Steve is still pretty recent, and Crash would be a little simpler when it comes to the gameplay, but a great representation in the game. So.
I wouldn't surprise me if Jeff Keighley would fight for that.
Yeah.
He loves
I
Crash.
wonder. Could we see Crash on stage? I'm assuming there will be a stage portion of this, even if without an audience. Could we see Crash in the flesh as a mascot, on stage with Jeff Keighley?
With a
That would be
Smash
awesome.
envelope.
I was gonna say,
Yes. Oh,
Recreate the initial Smash Brothers commercial, but then it's like, wait, and then you see Crash Bandicoot like, "Hey, plumber boy." Them fighting words.
Yeah, my friend was saying that on Twitter. I got to give him some credit for that tweet. At that Trav guy, he tweeted, and picture this: you're watching the Game Awards. Crash shows up on the stage. He's holding an envelope, and he said, "Hey, plumber boy, your worst nightmare has arrived."
that'd be so amazing. And that's the kind of fun thing about Crash, because he's not a Sony character anymore. He's been with Activision probably as long as Sony had him, maybe longer now. I don't know.
Longer, way longer.
That's wild. But I think a lot of people still associate him with that classic rivalry, at least people who grew up during that era. And so that's why it would be fun to see, because even though he isn't a Sony character, he does kind of represent that side of things. And it would be fun just to have the classic matchup now of like Mario versus Sonic versus Crash Bandicoot. Particularly, we already have multiple Microsoft characters in the game now. It'd be fun to see like the Sony side of things. Even again, if it's not a direct Sony thing these days, it still evokes that era. Is there anyone? Oh, go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say it might be as close as you can get to Sony in Smash Brothers outside of, recognizing Cloud as a Sony character, really.
Right? Yeah. That's actually kind of a good point. Like so much of Sony's past, although they have been straying from this, has been in those third-party relationships. So in a sense, really, the third-party characters almost represent Sony better than the actual Sony character would.
Yeah.
I would love to see Astrobot in the game though at some point. Now, is there anyone who thinks Smash Brothers won't be here? Is there anyone who thinks no? I don't see it happening. I
think it could be there. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't there, but I think I'm kind of just hoping it is going to be there now because I really want that Crash Bandicoot announcement now.
Well, do we think it could be anyone else then? Is there any other character that people think or that you're either hoping for or think it could be?
Probably Master Chief. Maybe keep the Microsoft train going.
I could see them holding off on Master Chief though until closer to when Halo is actually coming out. Like I could see them working with that and maybe swapping a character, but it's hard, right? Like if you work on this for years or you're working on it for months and it's like, hey guys, we're delaying our game. Can you delay our character? Like I don't know if it actually works that you can pull that off. So.
I do think we will see Smash. I wouldn't like Joey. I wouldn't be surprised if we won't. But I actually, in my notes, I don't have a specific character written down. I just say first party, no, definitely third party. As much as I want to see another like Zelda character or another first party in general, like we have with Min Min, I don't think the Game Awards is the place to announce that. I think if they're going to reveal another Smash character, they need another big third party. But then again, they just imagine if Steve was originally announced at the Game Awards, that would have been wild. So yeah, I don't really know what other character they can do that would have that level, but I do think it has to be a third party for something like the Game Awards and what they represent. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm really thinking now Smash probably won't see any more characters from the 8 or 16-bit era, even though I could totally see like 8-bit Marth later on.
There was a fantastic leaked trailer, I think or a couple days ago now, where someone mocked up a 8-bit Mario being added to Smash Brothers, and it was so well done as part of the 35th anniversary. I'm like, that actually would be kind of a fun inclusion, but there probably is too much of the Mario side of things. Period. So Tris, who do you think, or who do you hope it might be?
I don't have anyone written down for who I like outright hope or think it will be,
Yeah,
but
one.
I do think that I do think you guys keep bringing up Crash, and it's getting me more convinced that I think we'll see Crash. Even though I personally prefer Spyro, I do think we will see Crash.
Yeah.
If not at the Game Awards, I do think he will be added sometime before the Fighters Pass ends.
There'd be three characters that make me lose my mind. There would be Crash, number one. Maybe Spyro would make me lose my mind, but then I'd be like, then you gotta add Crash. You can't just have Spyro and not add
Right,
Crash.
exactly.
Right? But then Rayman. Because I know they've tried adding Rayman before, and Ubisoft's not showing Rayman any love, so...
I've given up on Rayman. I don't think that's going to happen, especially after the Wii U, leak years ago from
Thanks, Omni.
Yeah. Anyways, real quick, actually, there have been rumblings. I don't think they're based on anything, but with Fortnite being as big as it is, and we've already been touching on, there's some crossover possibly with Samus. Do you think there's a chance we see a Fortnite character as the big reveal for Smash?
I don't think so.
I think there's a non-zero chance, if that sounds odd. Like, I don't think it's straight up impossible. I don't think it's likely. But Fortnite is a free game. Keep that in mind. It's a free-to-play game. But if it wasn't free to play and actually cost money to play, I actually think it would top Minecraft for how much it's been sold and how much of an audience it has. You can't really... You can't downplay that. That game has gotten incredibly massive and incredibly successful. So it really wouldn't be surprising if it did happen. Well, it would be surprising, but it wouldn't be out of nowhere if it did happen.
I would have to put notifications on mute because I just couldn't. I know the reaction to Steve was just so immature and childish at times, and I don't. And I just see a Fortnite character being announced, even worse. Like. Gosh, just let people enjoy their games.
Yeah.
Imagine Samus announced for Fortnite, and then Fortnite announced for Smash.
Yeah.
That would be
both ways. There you go.
That'd be wild. That would. I mean, putting aside like any thoughts I have on characters, that would be a wild combo announcement. Like that would be a fun way to do it. It's like, hey, not only is Samus in Fortnite, but here's the entire cast of Fortnite and Smash. I don't think it's gonna happen.
The entire cast, just the one default skin.
That would be such a missed opportunity to put Captain Falcon in Fortnite then, because Captain Falcon's basically just a Smash character at this point.
Yeah.
Well, with Fortnite, like it would make sense from like a business standpoint, even though it's not like from where my heart is to playing games. So,
Right.
like I know a lot of people enjoy Fortnite, so it's what's popular right now, and it's been around for years, doing well on Switch, so it would make sense that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, right. It makes business sense. The thing is, and of course, I realize there's no like real rules for who gets into Smash or not. But I don't know if Fortnite has the legacy yet to like the long. I don't think it's been around long enough for it to have secured that Smash position. Again, I realize that this may not mean anything.
Yeah.
But like take Minecraft, that's been around now for
Over
what,
10 years.
10 years?
Yep.
Yeah, over 10 years. I think most of the other third-party characters, not all, have been around at least as long as that. So I think Fortnite might be a little bit too recent. That might be maybe a next Smash Brothers character. And also, maybe it's just me. It could be entirely because I don't play much Fortnite, but I don't really associate Fortnite with like any particular characters. No. Yeah, it's more...
Just Star Wars and Marvel characters. And
Yeah,
God of
really.
War.
You almost associate more with the characters that aren't made for Fortnite. So
Yep.
yeah, so I'm not seeing that happening. All right, let's move on. I want another prediction. So who's got something for me?
I do have something.
I have a... Okay, you can go on, Tris.
This is the thing I wanted to bring up earlier. Well, we know that Tom Holland is a presenter, so it goes without saying he's probably bringing a trailer for the Uncharted movie. But,
Yes.
Good point.
and this is more outlandish prediction, I think it won't just be a trailer for the movie. I think we're also going to get a new Uncharted that he has some sort of role in to tie into things.
could work.
Like,
Because
sorry, a new game, you mean?
Yeah,
Or...
yeah. Like I could see them doing a new game to coincide with the movie in some way,
Okay, got it.
and have him announce
think, Joey?
both.
Wow,
basically.
yeah.
that's an interesting prediction. Yeah, somebody was telling me that somebody told me once young Nathan Drake in Uncharted 3 was Tom Holland before Tom Holland was a thing. So
There you
Oh,
go.
that
Kind of true, yes. I guess it kind of has existed, it feels like. Though I guess the movie is skewing a little bit older than the young Nathan. I don't know.
because he's like
I
20,
don't know.
Tom Holland's like a year younger than me,
Yeah.
so like he's not that young. But
Yeah.
also, yeah.
So, yeah, Tris, I think I agree with you. I think we'll see the trailer. I'd be shocked if we see a game tie-in, though.
That's fair.
From Naughty Dog.
Yeah, from Naughty. Yeah, I think right. I think Naughty Dog. I think they're too. I think they very much have their own like vision for these characters, and I would legit be shocked if they made a game based on the movie.
The game based on the movie, based on the game.
But yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
Ratchet and Clank, so good.
Yeah, predictions mostly in line with we'll see in the movie, but fun. The fun extra little thing is what
That
if
would
there's
be
a
fun,
game?
yeah.
Yeah.
I want it as a fighting game. I want them
Ooh.
digitized actors. You got Nate and Sully going at it. All right.
Yeah. So my prediction is a wild prediction. A very wild prediction. You'd say it's a Breath of the Wild prediction.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
I
man.
hope.
I hope so
Finally.
too. Like, because Breath of the Wild does have a very lengthy history with the Game Awards since the very first Game Awards when they went away from Spike TV. Like, we saw the demo. Now I'm thinking about it. I just want them to do the same thing they did for
That was-
when it was called Zelda U. Just have Miyamoto and Aonuma sitting on a
Yep.
chair and just
6
looking
feet
at
apart
it.
now.
6 feet apart, though. Exactly.
20 feet away from the screen.
Yes. The camera is 50 feet away from the screen, which makes analysis videos very painful. But
Real quick, I loved. I don't know if you saw. We posted so many like we posted like a zoomed in version. Then we posted like enhanced versions,
Oh
like
my
perspective corrected versions. We all did really well, but yeah, we kept like slightly bettering the picture quality of it, trying to get as much out of it as we could. Anyway,
Oh,
continue,
man.
Joey.
yeah, I hope we see something Breath of the Wild 2 related, maybe even a title drop, of course, because at that point, if you're going to show off the game, you might as well show us the
Got
title
it.
too.
Title, right?
Yeah, but I also see it not showing up until next year, maybe E3 if that still
Yeah.
happens. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. And how extensive the reveal would probably not be that extensive. I think it'd just be a story trailer, perhaps. No game, I wouldn't say no gameplay, but very minimal gameplay, perhaps.
Nintendo does usually a pretty good job of at least mixing in gameplay into their reveals.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I don't know where I fall on that. Actually, I do. If I had to predict, I don't think we'll see Breath of the Wild 2 here, but I so hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right. Because, yeah, we haven't seen it since its reveal a year and a half ago now. We know almost nothing about it. And I love the idea of them just kind of replicating what they did for the Wii U version, because I like seeing gameplay. I wanted to see people playing the game. The reason I don't think they'd go that route this time is just because it's somewhat of a known quantity. Like, Breath of the Wild was a massive change for what Zelda was, and they needed to convey that through some early experiences. And I'm sure Breath of the Wild 2 has some surprises in store, but it's not going to be the complete shift that Breath of the Wild was, obviously, because it'd be dumb too. They're not going to
Yeah.
move away from what's worked.
That was just a wild dream I had about them just reliving that moment. I'm sure if I asked Miyamoto and Aonuma, they'd be like, "Oh, I hated that we had to do that. Set up a camera and just play the game. That was dumb."
I could see, that kind of happening though. Like, well, I'd say no to Bowser's Fury. Zelda is far enough out where people are still focused on now purchases. Well, it keeps them excited for the Switch while the next gen stuff's going on. I could see that as a reason for it. Any gameplay things, like let's say if Zelda is playable in the main trailer, but I think they would save that to closer to release.
Yeah.
Well, unless I guess it depends on how big Zelda, or I guess if she is playable, that should be a huge factor of the game.
Yeah.
I assume she would tie into the title too. Well, Zelda's already in the title. So
No, it'd be the
maybe not.
Adventure of Link, Breath of the Wild 2.
They should call it The Legend of Zelda. Zelda's playable now.
Yeah.
You were saying, Tris?
I definitely want to see Breath of the Wild 2. We all know how big of a Zelda fan I am, and we all know how big into the Breath of the Wild world I am with all the Age of Calamity stuff. But I almost feel like it's too soon compared to Age of Calamity to immediately jump onto Breath of the Wild 2.
It's never
Um,
too soon, Tris.
Well, as much as
Never
I
too soon.
as much as I want them to do both, I almost feel like that would end up confusing people that like they're still trying to market Age of Calamity to. Especially if they end up doing DLC for Age of Calamity, I think that would just end up getting a little muddled for people. So I do think Breath of the Wild 2, as much as I want to see it sooner, may not be something we see until E3 time.
My gut reaction is to agree with you, but I know there have been times where I've had that same line of thought, and Nintendo's proven me wrong before. And it's possible that they could look at it as like a Halo type situation, not the game Halo, but like in that. Maybe that's not the best comparison. Like in that, like a rising tide like raises all ships, right? Like where people being aware of Breath of the Wild 2 will increase awareness of
that's
Age
true.
of Calamity.
That's true.
So that could be one way that they're looking at it. But yeah, like I said, I if I had to choose, my gut is saying we're not going to see here, but I would love to be wrong because it's been a while. And
I mean, to prove myself wrong, look how soon after New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, that mouthful of a game released, that they revealed Mario Maker 2. So
right,
it was like a
exactly.
month and a half
Yeah.
later. So
Yeah,
I could be
and
wrong.
that's a game that effectively seems to just supplant, you know, New Super Mario Bros. U. It's like, why do I need that
pretty
game if I have infinite levels? So
yeah.
all right,
I could be wrong.
Another prediction.
Yeah, I was going to mention Breath of the Wild as well, or Breath of the Wild 2. And just to touch on something Joey said, I think it would be really cool if they did drop the title, or Tom, you might have said this, if they dropped the title of the game, because it'd be sort of different, I think, from the first Breath of the Wild, where we just called it Zelda U for however long, like 3 years, until it wasn't until like January of the year it came out that they shared the full name in the story trailer, I think.
No,
I think it was E3. where
Oh,
they-
okay, then it was further before that.
I remember that because we had an interview with some people from Nintendo. I cannot remember the freaking name of the game. I'm like, what do you remember what we kept calling it, Tom?
Called it like Breath of the Wind.
Yeah.
Breath of the
yes.
Wind.
Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
was,
That was so
funny.
tough. Sorry,
Yeah.
continue, Chris.
Well, I was just that sort of detracts from my point a bit now because I forgot that they released the title earlier. But I was gonna say, like, I think it would be a cool move for them to release the title earlier on because I think that would, especially if they don't have a lot to show gameplay wise or trailer wise, at least if they just show the full title, I think that would be cool. That alone would raise a lot of speculation and theories about what the game could be about, assuming it's a good title. So I think that would be a really cool thing for them to do, regardless of how much of it they show.
I agree.
I have
Well,
more of a question than a prediction, if it helps.
Oh.
Which is, what of what we've discussed, predictions-wise, which do you guys think would be revealed in the pre-show versus the main show?
Oh, Breath of the Wild 2 is a pre-show game, let's be honest.
Because I can see them ending the pre-show as their way to segue into the main show, ending the pre-show with a big announcement to draw people in for the start of the actual show, and then also ending with the big announcement, because the Joker and Smash announcement a couple years ago was one of the last announcements that year, I believe.
Right.
So
Anything, most anything Nintendo related, it would be during the show itself, I think. So we're not gonna see anything from the pre-show unless it's for like, a game that is small or already out, like an expansion for the Marvel Ultimate Alliance game again or something, right?
right.
All the big Nintendo stuff would be during the main show itself, I think, with the biggest announcements, as you were saying, coming toward the end. I think that's generally how it's been. I think Zelda may have been close, maybe closer to the halfway point. I forget now. It's been so many years, but I think there could be big announcements, of course, during the pre-show, though. In fact, I'll use that to mention something I expect, and that's I think we may see something like a big Microsoft announcement
Yeah,
here. Like,
that's
they've
what I'm
had-
leaning towards.
They've had so many they have so many studios now, of course, which still includes Rare. I don't have any specifics, but I think we will see something, something big from them.
Yeah.
So,
I think we'll finally see a look at like Hellblade 2, which we thought we'd see that earlier this year because it was revealed last year, I believe, at the Game Awards.
Yes.
And we did. It's like, where is it? Getting ready for launch. I think probably it's just the working from home type delays this year. It's been a problem, and I'd love to see Everwild there from Rare, but I don't think it's quite Game Awards type material. So maybe just some of what the other studios are working on, just surprise me. Have something cool.
yeah, that's what we hope for. We want to be surprised. Like that's always the fun of it. Like, what is going to what's going to catch our interest this year that we didn't see coming? And in some cases, nothing. Sometimes there's not much. But yeah, we'll see. But real quick too. So there was one big Game Awards announcement years ago now, being Bayonetta 3. 3 years ago.
3 years, yeah.
Almost to the day. Do you think there's a chance we'll see anything of it this year?
No. I'm just gonna. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't. The only game I've seen Nintendo like come back with announcements and stuff is Breath of the Wild. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo shows something new every year, and I don't see Bayonetta 3. I see that being more of a summertime E3 time kind of announcement, and it really is ridiculous that they announced that game 3 years ago, and the only updates we get are like, oh, it's happening, oh, it's coming along.
Yeah,
like, don't
it's
worry.
still going well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's annoying. It's not reassuring. It's just like, then show us something. I remember when they announced Astral Chain, Spring Direct 2019, and they're like, and Koizumi's like, you're probably wondering what's going on with Bayonetta 3. Well, it's going along just fine. Anyway,
That game was announced way
think-
too early, honestly.
yeah.
It reminds me of Metroid Prime 4, but the difference in that case is, as far as we know, Bayonetta 3 hasn't been rebooted with another developer.
Yeah.
Which kind of speaks to, I think, how far away Metroid Prime 4 may be.
Yeah.
Even at this point. So if we've heard nothing from Bayonetta 3, it's like, whoa, what's that mean for Metroid?
I don't know. Retro's pretty fast because they crunch their employees hard. You know. That's so sad. Please don't do that.
Yeah. Platinum still has its own independent efforts coming up too, like that kind of kaiju fighting one, I believe. I forget the name. But...
Yeah, that's another thing. Platinum works on so many games.
Yeah.
They are a busy studio.
Yep. All right, everyone. Any final predictions or just general thoughts about the Game Awards before we wrap it up here?
There is also Pikmin 4.
Ah,
But
Good one, Chris.
I don't
Good one.
think we'll be seeing that.
fair enough.
Yeah, I feel I want to see it someday, but
Yep.
I think what we see of the deluxe's sales numbers, I think we've had some early numbers from some countries, and they didn't look extremely promising. But we'll have to wait for the final results. But yeah. It's I don't know what to make of that series anymore. Like, that was announced years ago for the Wii U,
Announced.
seemingly
In
announced.
quotes.
Yeah, I mean, some
It's
people
almost
think it
done.
may have been Hey
There we
Pikmin,
go.
yeah, right. I don't know. That's just such a weird game. Like, I hope there's life left in Pikmin, but we'll see. So what's your hype level at for the Game Awards? 1 to 10. 10 being maximum hype, 1 being whatever. Where are you at, Chris? What's your?
I'm just gonna say a 9.
Whoa.
I have reasonable expectations. I'm more just excited because I get to cover it, and that's cool. I've always just watched it, but I get to cover it now, and that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So it's my first one too with Game Explained. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Same here.
All right.
Fun fact.
How about you, Joey? What's your hype at then?
7.
Okay.
Because I'm still not trying to get my hopes up for any huge announcements.
Always a smart idea.
Mm-hmm.
Triss?
Yeah, I'm also at a 7. Like, a pleasant outlook on it. Wouldn't be surprised if there was anything that I'm personally excited for, but I think it'll be a good night. A fun night.
How about you, Tom?
I'm going 6.5 because I think the biggest announcements will be games on series that I don't necessarily play. So I'm keeping it low so I can be pleasantly surprised.
There we go. I think I would also go 7. Despite me sleeping outside Jeff Keighley's
I was about
house
to say.
overnight.
How are you not at a
I
10?
mean, to be fair, I'm naturally hesitant to get too excited. So 7's pretty high for me. So yeah, I'll maybe 7.5 because I am outside Jeff Keighley's house, as I said. Anyways, I think that's gonna wrap it up for our game of the for the Game Awards predictions. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this discussion, make sure to click the subscribe button and ring that bell, as we'll be having tons more coverage, hopefully, from the show, including possibly a live stream of the entire event, plus a discussion afterward of any big announcements. Still fingers crossed for big Nintendo stuff here. We'll see. But with that, thank you for watching, and of course, stay tuned for tons more from Nintendo in general and other companies too. We'll catch you guys later. Bye, everyone.